Hi, I'm Paul Darley, and thanks for tuning into our November issue of Inside Darley. Every October I anxiously await the NFPA fire loss report, and the 2018 report just came out. We've attached a copy of it here for you. And really the data show that the number of fires, we had 1.3 million fires, 500,000 of which were structural fires, was almost identical to 2017. If you go back and look over 20 years, it's down drastically. In 1997, for example, we had 3.2 million fires. The number of deaths, we had 3,655 deaths. We had 64 firefighters also be killed in the line of duty. And the number of, when we looked at the responses, the report shows that the number of fire calls was actually down to less than 4%. And EMS calls made up 64% of all of the times where a pumper or a fire station responds to a fire. 8% were false alarms. But the fires we're having are creating a lot more damage. Last year, in fact, there was $25.6 billion in damages in U.S. fires. A lot of that was caused by wildfires, and also just the fires we're having are much larger. And in fact, last week in New Zealand, they had probably their largest fire in a long time. The Auckland Convention Center was under fire. The New Zealand Fire Service fought that for over 3 days. There were 40 pumpers on call. Every one of them had a Darley pump, and all performed flawlessly, is what we're told. So the great news there, and happy to do our part. We're also happy to do our part on the wildland end, where that's obviously the one area in the United States where fires have continued to grow tremendously. Well, this year's been kind of a relatively quiet compared to 2018. The last few weeks have been very dangerous out in California and the West in particular. But just about all of those fire vehicles responding to those wildfires have Darley pumps, whether it's CAL FIRE, CAL OES, BLM, U.S. Forest Service, you name it. They all just about depend on Darley pumps because of our reliability and durability. And at the same time, because of those issues, we've got a lot more fire departments switching to Darley pumps. The most recent, of course, was Toronto Fire Department. And Toronto, we just had our annual FEMA-FEMSA meeting there in early October. And I'll tell you, it's probably one of the best meetings. James Long is on the board for FEMSA. He did a great job organizing those speakers. But we had a fire chief panel, which included Chief Robin Salmi from the city of Toronto, as well as Chief Mark Pucknitis from Naperville, Illinois, and a lot of other great chiefs. But they talked primarily about the cancer issues that are impacting them, as well as fleet issues and everything. But clearly cancer was a number one issue. And our second article here is an article put out by the Journal of Hygiene and Environmental Health, and talks really specifically about the cancer risks when it comes to training. And I think the best speaker we had was Dr. Brian Brower from the University of Illinois. And he put on a seminar entitled Human Behavior and Innovation, Strategies for Implementing Change. And in there he talked a lot about the implications of cancer, but also talked about our fire systems, flame trainer systems for using that as virtual reality for firefighting, and also our flame extinguisher, which is our latest new product that can teach any citizen how to put out a fire using a fire extinguisher in very realistic firefighting scenarios. So we've attached some literature here for you. It runs under $6,000, which is a fraction of the cost of some of the other systems like the Bullock system out on the out in the field. So reach out to Kevin Sofin at Darley.com or any of us at Darley if you'd like more information on that. Lastly, we're doing a lot of hiring here at Darley. We're growing leaps and bounds. My assistant, Dawn Yelmgren, who's been just a great right-hand person for the last over more than 10 years, has just done a great job replacing her, as well as hiring a number of other folks. And it's interesting as we're as a company looking at who's the right fit for us as a business, and we've really said we hire for attitude and aptitude. And as I look at Marcus Buckingham, I'd encourage you to go to marcusbuckingham.com. He's kind of the business guru out there. Talks a lot about hiring and people. He said he tells a story about in a recent podcast about going to the circus with his kids, and he sees these dogs on their hind legs, and they're up, walking all around, and he goes up to the circus master after, and he says, "How is it that you teach those dogs how to stand on their hind legs and do that?" He said, "Well, it's really easy. I go down to the pound and I look for the dogs who are standing on their hind legs." So we at Darley are really trying to look for the people who are that as we onboard here at Darley. So hey, thanks for tuning into this issue of Inside Darley. If there's anything we can be doing to support you, we hope you reach out to us.